Previously on the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. Something just never clicked. He got injured at a house show, was out, came back, then was a face, and it was weird. And there was never any clear direction, so then they put him down into NXT for 2 years. And who remembers that stint? After his 2 years in NXT, he was just gone. He got released. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, April 22nd, Earth Day, and you know what that means. It is time once again for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, the Street Champion, back once again, Jeremy Pearson. Yeah, got a nice little show for you today. As always, you can check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and the 215 on Twitter, and the Patreon is live. So please appreciate any and all donations on Patreon. Get a couple perks and on coffee, and also working on a few other things for the channel, for the movies, for the wrestling. I'm looking at some stuff that's in my closet right now that I can't really wait to get into. But for today's show, another new series, Betting on Yourself. And we know what that means. We've seen it done a bunch of times, and we're going to look at the highs, we're going to look at the lows of betting on yourself. But today will be about we're going to go with the good of some of the people that betted on themselves and came out on the better end of it. But for now, you all know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. Alright, so I won't be before you long. Let's get into the news, shall we? Mercedes Moné is negotiating a New Japan deal. As you remember, her original deal was only for 3 matches, and this weekend she is defending the IWGP Women's Championship against Mayu Iwatani at the Stardom event. Oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. I could not wait for this match. Goldberg is outraged, upset, if you want to call it that. He was promised a retirement match in the WWE and never got it. I'd be upset too. He had a handshake deal with Vince and he didn't get it. We all know what happened with Vince. The WWE stars are back on Twitch. They are allowed on Twitch with pretty much no restrictions. The revenue is a 3-way split between the WWE, the superstars, and the Twitch, with the superstars and Twitch getting the vast majority of the money. The only restriction is that they cannot work with talent from other companies unless it's cleared first. And WWE's cut will come from Twitch, not the talent side. So this is really, really, really good for them. Backlash, as expected, is sold out. Backlash is sold out as the next WWE premium live event. This is good. This is what we expected. All right. And listen, I'm with Tony, and you know who I side with on this feud. Tony Khan has said that, you know, he's ruling out Britt and Thunder Rosa working together or ever getting along. And you know me, I am Team Thunder Rosa, not Team Britt. Ever. You'll never catch me cheering for Britt Baker. I am Thunder Rosa, because what did Thunder Rosa actually do wrong here? It's it's a sticky situation, and we'll see what happens when Thunder Rosa comes back from injury. The WWE, they had their eye on a talent that has recently signed with AEW, and yes, that would be one Komander, who is now all elite. AEW will be getting a fourth show coming on. It sounds like it's coming on Saturday nights. It'll be called AEW Collision. It's not confirmed just yet, but it's not confirmed, but it's confirmed. And there might even be like a small roster split. And this is the show that CM Punk will pretty much be a part of, and he has been told to stay away from the Elite. Do not contact them, do not talk to them. They want no parts of you, Punk. And listen, I'm a Punk fan, but he did this to himself. Everything that's going on, he did it to himself. If I was the Elite, I wouldn't want to work with him. Either Lita at the moment is done. She's chilling. She's not going to be featured in this Becky and Trish storyline right now, so she won't be on TV. She got ridden off with the attack last week, and but I do expect her to be back at some point leading up to the SummerSlam match between Trish and Becky. So if you watched SmackDown last night, there was a random graphic showing the matches for Backlash. Yeah, Seth Rollins is facing Omos at Backlash. What? Huh? That it's when I say it's so random and so out of the blue, it just is. And injuries, so I'm starting with the news. Instead of spreading everything out, I'm gonna put the injuries together, I'm gonna put the ratings together. So on the injury front, Justin Roberts, he missed Dynamite with COVID, so we had the lovely Dasha. The list of WWE superstars currently not cleared, medically cleared to compete as of right now are Amari Miller, Ariana Grace, Nikita Lyons, Roderick Strong, Sanga, Blair Davenport, Yulisa Leon. Those are NXT people. And from the main roster, Big E, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Ronda Rousey, Kofi Kingston, Robert Roode, Tommaso Ciampa, AJ Styles, Aaliyah, Drew McIntyre, Johnny Gargano, and Carmella. That's some serviceable, sizable names in there. AJ, as you know, is working back from a broken ankle, which he suffered back in December. Ronda is having some arm and shoulder issues, and that's why she broke her forearm. That's why she won the match her and Shayna won the match at WrestleMania, but Ronda really didn't do anything. And they were probably supposed to win the tag team titles at some point, but they're probably going to get them once Ronda heals. Mac Jackson is doubling up his treatment to, just be in good working wrestling shape. He participated in that brawl on Dynamite, but he's going to be upping his therapy treatment to, get ready for this really big feud. Ray Phoenix is taking time off. Sometime if he's just banged up, he just needs to heal. Remember, he and his brother Penta are the current Ring of Honor tag team champions. On the ratings tip, Rampage from last week did 639,000 viewers. That is up. They did a 0.21 in the 18-49 demo. And this Dynamite started 20 minutes earlier due to the NBA schedule. There was no Dynamite last night. There's Dynamite on tonight because of the NBA playoffs. But that's definitely up from the previous 2 weeks. On Monday Night Raw this past week, they did 1.8 million viewers with a 0.58 in the 18-49 demo. That's about average and about little what they did as last week. So no really big change in that. And SmackDown, their ratings are in. They did 2.1 million viewers with a 0.49 in the 18-49 demo. The demo was down, but that's about what they did last week when it comes to the viewership. So, SmackDown's just here chugging along, but that's the news, and we shall be right back. All right, so as always, we got ourselves some shows to go over, and with the WWE, they're kind of just holding water, biding their time until the draft. So Monday Night Raw, we had an interesting deal between the Judgment Day and the Bloodline that kind of started the show, and that got everything going. That was the storyline throughout the show. So the Bloodline and the Judgment Day decided to deal with each other's enemies. The Usos were not notified of this because, Roman wanted to see how they react. Finn didn't like it because, he does have some beef with the Bloodline. And the best part of all of this was Rhea and Solo staring each other down, and Rhea not backing down from Solo. Like, she wanted to murder this man. Let them fight. So they decided that they would deal with each other's enemies. Solo defeated Rey Mysterio, and then the LWO gets beaten up after the match. I'm tired of the LWO losing matches and getting beaten up. Later in the evening, Paul tells the Judgment Day that they need to, handle their side of the deal, or they have to answer to the tribal chief. And I'm like, yo, you gonna get that weak mess out of here? Bianca Belair defeated Dakota Kai. There was just nothing from Io and Bayley. They were ringside, but they really didn't do anything. They didn't come into play. Cody comes out ready for a fight, and once Brock taunts from the stage, so Cody beats up security, and Adam Pearce gives the match to Cody at Backlash. Seth Rollins defeated The Miz in such a random match, but it was good. Matt Riddle brings up the toe bro, but then gets serious about going against the Bloodline. Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley ended in a no contest after Bronson Reed interferes. He then beats up Bobby Lashley after the match, and Austin Theory's matches keep ending in DQs or no contest, or people keep getting involved. It's annoying. It's very, very much annoying. Trish explains everything. Long story short, show appreciation to her. She's not a nostalgia act. She's nobody's sidekick like Lita was Lita was Becky's sidekick. Respect her. Chelsea and Sonya defeated Candice and Mi Chin. Just kind of give them the win before their title match on Friday. We still have no payoff to this Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae thing. I don't know. I have no idea why they just call it Indy Hartwell already. And in the main event, Sami, KO, and Riddle defeated the Judgment Day, and then brawl breaks out with the four teams and the faces. KO, Riddle, Sami Zayn, and the LWO stand tall. Over on Dynamite, we had a nice little show with some story progression. This show gets a fist, along with Raw getting a fist. The three of the pillars rag on each other. That would be Sammy, Darby, and Jungle Boy. And the MJF sets up a tournament to decide who'll face him at Double or Nothing. Darby gets a bye because he just pulled his name out of a hat. I still think it'll end up being a fatal four-way at Double or Nothing. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter defeated Ruby Soho and Toni Storm. Jamie gets quote-unquote injured. This plays into the something's gonna happen later in the evening. Kenny and the Elite offer up a match against the BCC, and the BCC ends up jumping them. Don Collins comes out with a chair. Notice that it's still not in his favor, so he gets Takeshita to help. I'm intrigued. to see where this is going to go. Wardlow wins the TNT Championship from Powerhouse Hobbs, and I would very much. But they booked themselves into a corner because Hobbs' reign was just getting started. Sammy and MJF make a deal backstage. Jay White defeats Komander. Mark Briscoe was attacked earlier by the Varsity Athletes and Tony Neeson and crew. So he asks FTR, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal to team up, and FTR doesn't want to, but Jay and Mark have history. Adam Cole and Jericho shoot daggers at each other on the mic, rag on each other until the JAS and the Outcast beat up Adam Cole and Britt Baker. And yes, I loved every single minute of it. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass defeated the JAS, and in the main event, Sammy Guevara defeats Jungle Boy by countout, which rarely ever happens in AEW, with a little bit of help from MJF. On Impact, we had a Rebellion fallout. So Time Machine defeated Trey Miguel, Jonathan Gresham, and Mike Bailey. Trey couldn't get along with his teammates, which is why they lost. And this is the second match in a row where there's a miscommunication with the Motor City Machine Guns. Alicia Edwards defeated Terra Rising, and She keeps attacking Tara after the match, and Jody Threat had a problem with this, so she came out. Moose defeated Yuya Uemura. Jimmy Jacobs interviews Nick Aldis backstage, who says he's here for the World Championship. Kaz defeated the Good Hands in a handicap match. The Coven are coming for Deonna Purrazzo. Joe Hendry retained the Impact Digital Media Championship, and Steve Maclin will face a Canadian at Under Siege. He was having a championship celebration, and the Canadian that he will be facing is PCO, who comes out and attack his guards and him. Over on Ring of Honor, the Kingdom defeated Action Andretti and Darius Martin. Willow Nightingale defeated Robin Wingate, who tried some twin magic, but it didn't work. Coco Cabana is back and will be getting a TV championship title shot later in the evening. Brian Cage had won a squash match. Athena had an open challenge in squash match, and she won that. The Dark Order defeated The Factory, the team of Lee Johnson and Cole Carter. Penta defeated Nick Camarado. Takeshita defeated Lee Moriarty. Hijo de Vikingo retained the AAA Mega Championship against Gringo Loco. The Iron Savages, formerly known as Bear Country, re-debut and get a W. And Samoa Joe retains against Colt Cabana in the main event, and they, share some respect because Joe has respect. Over on SmackDown, we're just like I said, we're holding water until the draft. The show gets a fist. Damian Priest and Finn Balor defeated Ray and Santos has to stop losing. I need this so bad. I need him to stop losing matches. Zelina requests a title match against Rhea Ripley, which she gets. Nakamura and Karen Cross, they will be starting up a feud, and annoyed, very, very, very much annoyed. Ricochet and Braun Strowman defeated the Viking Raiders. I wish this feud would have been dragged out just a little bit longer. Liv Morgan and Raquel retained the Women's Tag Team Championship against Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Matt Riddle will be alone tonight in his match against Solo. Gunther retained the Intercontinental Championship against Xavier Woods. And Solo Sikoa in the main event defeated Matt Riddle in a no DQ match, and he got his ass beat after the match. No Rampage last night, so we move on to our matches of the week. From Rebellion, PCO versus Eddie Edwards in the last Rites match. And the last match is pretty much a casket match. Also from Rebellion, Team Bully versus Team Dreamer in the Hardcore War match. And finally from Rebellion, Steve Maclin versus KUSHIDA for the vacant Impact World Championship. Actually, no, one more match from Rebellion, Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace. This was the main event, and this was for the vacant Impact Knockouts Championship from Triplemania 31. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Swerve, Strickland versus Rich Swann versus Komander, with the AAA Mega Championship on the line. From Ring of Honor, Konosuke Takeshita versus Lee Moriarty. Also from Ring of Honor, El Hijo del Vikingo versus Gringo Loco. And from New Japan Capital Collision, the Motor City Machine Guns versus Aussie Open versus Tanahashi and Okada for the Strong Open Weight Tag Team Championships. Just a lot of good quality wrestling this week. But listen, my money's on Mercedes versus Mayu stealing the show for the entire year. I'm just saying. But our star of the week has to go to Steve Maclin. And you know what? And Deonna Purrazzo, husband and wife, both winning gold at Rebellion. But that is the weekend review, and we shall be right back. Now, I won't be before you very long. Just give me 15 good preacher minutes. Y'all know what that means, but got a new little series for you. Something that just kind of came to me, and essentially because it's been happening so more often now, and it's easier to do now, betting on yourself, believing in yourself. And what does that mean? That means going against the established order, going against the grain, and taking a chance on yourself, believing in yourself. You are your own biggest fan. All right. What did TL say? I love me some me. and that's what you got to do. So, betting on yourself, what is it? It's essential. Like I just said, you go against the established order. You're saying, hey, I don't believe that you believe in me. You don't have any faith in me, so I'm going to take my own life, my own experience, and do what's best for me. And that's what it is. So I've got a few people who we're going to marinate on, digest on. The list is long, so this is a nice little series that I'm going to keep going, hopefully for a good minute. But let's start with one John Bradshaw Layfield. So how did JBL bet on himself? For the longest of times, he was Bradshaw in a tag team with Farouk, Ron Simmons, and these dudes were known as the Acolytes. They were part of the Ministry, then the corporate ministry, working alongside Vince and The Undertaker and The Rock and Big Boss Man and Big Show. And then there was a small change that after they left the ministry, they became the APA, which was short for the Acolyte Protection Agency. And it was a great attitude and ruthless aggression era gimmick. So during the first brand split in 2002, I think about the first brand split was 20 years ago. They were split up, Farouk and Bradshaw, and we knew that Farouk, Ron Simmons, could be by himself. He's the first ever Black World Champion in WCW. So we knew he would be fine. It was Bradshaw that we were slightly concerned about, and he's had some times as a singles competitor, so it was there. But in 2004 they were split up again, and this was the last time they split up, but they come back as the APA every so often. He switched to his JBL gimmick. He shifted. He went from the beer drinking, butt kicking Bradshaw to this money man that had private security and a limo. And listen, JBL was a money man. He was a money man, and essentially this was, I want to say, a rehash of the $1 Million Man gimmick, because that's what it reminded me. There were a couple people that had kind of old gimmicks and reinvigorated. JBL looked like he was a new $1 Million Man. Carlito was Razor Ramon. At one point, felt like the Boogeyman was Papa Shango. So we get JBL, and he's got new music. He's coming out in a limo with the steer on the front, and it was a really, really tough shift, and he was immediately thrusted into the main event scene on SmackDown. And at that time, the WWE champion was my guy, Eddie Guerrero. And I get it. These were the first two that it worked, that it was going against Eddie. And I'll never forget JBL at the border. Like, how did they get away with that? Him at the border kicking Mexicans out of the United States. But it worked. And he and Eddie Guerrero, God bless my guy, helped to get JBL over. And JBL defeated Eddie Guerrero for the WWE Championship in a very, very bloody Texas bull rope match. And it was all history from there. It's the only time JBL won the WWE Championship, but he ended up becoming one of the longest reigning WWE champions. He defeated Booker T during that reign. He defeated The Big Show during that reign. He defeated Eddie Guerrero. He defeated The Undertaker. He was getting quality wins in the fans hated him. And when the fans hate you, when they have such a visceral reaction to you, that means you're doing something right. Now, today, fans of today recognize and remember JBL more for his JBL gimmick than his Bradshaw gimmick. I'm different, you know what I mean? I'm a wrestling nerd. I grew up on this, so I've seen both. But betting on yourself, taking that leap, it worked for JBL. He became the wrestling god, and the rest is history. He, got a couple more mid-card title reigns, WrestleMania matches, but it helped him. It elevated him, and this is the benefit of betting on yourself. When you know what you have, you just need. The thing is, you need one person just to have a little bit of faith in you, just a little bit to take a chance. And that was, as much as I despised the man, that was Vince McMahon. And JBL going from Bradshaw to JBL, it worked. That's the benefit of betting on yourself. Another person that bet on themselves, the living legend, the icon, Sting. Up until 1996, Sting was Surfer Sting, classic babyface. He had the colorful face paint. He had the blonde hair, and it worked for him. He won multiple world championships in WCW under this gimmick. He won multiple, and he was just there. He was the mainstay in WCW, but something happened in 1996, and this will tie into, the series again in another episode. In 1996, the NWO, the New World Order, were running roughshod over WCW, and something changed in Sting. Something snapped, and he ditched his old persona. He ditched his hair, the blonde hair. He ditched the colorful face paint, and we got the Crow. Y'all remember the Crow? It's the classic comic book and movie. And everything changed. Sting went to wearing all black. Face paint switched to all black, and this is the Sting that we know. This is the Sting that we all know, that became the icon. He became the foil to the New World Order, their biggest enemy. Crow Sting, black baseball bat, watching from the rafters, and it worked, because he's still this man today. Hell, when he went to TNA, he was still using that gimmick, but again, he bet on himself one more time and switched, and we got Joker Sting. And I like that. There were some people that didn't like Joker Sting. I liked it because it showed just a different side of him, of Sting going just a little bit more crazy. And boy, it worked. That icon Sting is just like, we know who the best gimmick wrestler of all time is. That's The Undertaker. Everybody needs a gimmick, but Sting is the best gimmick and character wrestler. The Undertaker is the best, gimmick and character wrestler, but can you put Sting second? And what makes it worse is that we never ever got a match between Sting and Undertaker. That's so unbelievably absurd that it's hard to think we never got that. I put that blame on Vince McMahon for sure. When everything is all said and done, when we're all dead and buried, the earth is no longer here, and we have questions that will haunt us. We're going to ask ourselves why we never got Sting versus The Undertaker. And Taker's retired. Sting's still gone, but he'll be retiring soon as well. So it sucks, but Sting switching to the Crow, man, oh man. It was game changing. And it helped shift the Monday Night Wars into WCW's favor for a good minute. So yeah, another person that bet on themselves, and it really kind of just took off, was AJ Styles deciding to leave TNA in 2013. AJ is what we like to call a pillar. When you do the Mount Rushmore of TNA, he's there. He's there. For me, it's AJ, Jeff Jarrett. I'll pick a tag team, so I'll go Beer Money and a woman, Gail Kim. But AJ was the mainstay of TNA. So in 2013, he left. And when he left, he was actually the TNA World Champion. So he had to vacate the championship, and that went to Magnus, whatever. And so many were wondering, well, why did AJ leave? Some will point to Dixie Carter's creative mismanagement, pay issues, which I definitely believe we know about the pay issues that happened during the era of TNA. He was reported a 60% pay cut. So he knew he had to bounce. So what did AJ do? He joined New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I don't think New Japan's probably has been at this height since then. He immediately went after Okada, who was the heavyweight champion at that point. Okada's like almost always the heavyweight champion. And AJ was the newest recruit of, at that time in wrestling, the most popular faction in all of wrestling, the Bullet Club. And it took some time for him to get going. Like, his first title reign was just bad, and it just didn't look believable of him defeating the Rainmaker that is Okada. But his second reign, boy, oh boy, fire. His match versus Tanahashi, whew, his match against Tanahashi it's like game changing, and it's life changing, and just him saying, yo, this is me, I'm taking this chance on myself. And it helped that he joined the Bullet Club, working with Adam Cole and Finn Balor and Cody and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. So like, he knew, and we knew, and when we got that second title reign of AJ, that was the AJ that we know. That was the AJ that we know built up TNA and Impact Wrestling. And lastly, someone right now who is betting on themselves, that would be the former Sasha Banks, Miss Mercedes Moné. And look, we've been here before. We've rehashed this, but Sasha Banks and Naomi being disrespected, and they quit. They walked out of the WWE. We had to wait about a year, and Sasha returned as Mercedes Moné. She was training in Mexico. She was training in Japan. Something she always wanted was to wrestle in Japan. So, where are we? She's on the Mandalorian. She's wrestling, and we get her first match, and then we get her second match. What is Mercedes now? She's the current IWGP Women's Champion. And this Sunday, she's defended the championship against Mayu Iwatani. And remember, I had Mayu as one of the top 2 or 3 women that I wanted to see Mercedes wrestle. And she may not be making as much money as she would have been made in WWE, but you know she's respected more. Because we've heard the reports, we know the stories that WWE never saw her as a true main eventer. Vince McMahon. And that she always had to play second fiddle to Charlotte and Becky. And here's the thing. Sasha Banks should have been the biggest star in the WWE. Should have been the biggest star in the WWE. The crossover appeal is tremendous, but no, they failed her. So what did she do? She was like, I'm going. I'm out of here. I'm going to do it my way. And guess what? It worked. Because I don't think it'll be long before we see Mercedes in AEW. Period. She's that good. She's that good of a talent. And she knew what she was capable of. She knew what her job was. And for that, I applaud her. Always been a fan. Always will be. You got to do something like really, really horrible for me to not be a fan of you anymore. But Sasha Banks leaving the WWE. Sasha Banks becoming Mercedes Moné. This is it. This is it. This is what happens when you know your worth and you believe in yourself and you say, I got this. And we've got so much more coming up. We got so many people that better themselves. But let me know what you all think. Who should I talk about next? Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. Next week, Backlash preview. I gotta see when the Backlash shows. I have to go to a wedding next weekend. So I think the show will be. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me see when Backlash 2023 is. I'm hoping it's not. If it's next Saturday, we are going to have a problem. Backlash 2023 is Backlash 2023 May 6th. Okay. So we have time. So next week's show will be on Sunday. What is that date? Sunday the 30th will be next week's show. Not next Saturday, because I got to go to this wedding. But that will be next week. As always, check out the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. The 215 on Twitter. Check out the Patreon. Check out the coffee. And as always, Zia Lee, Wendy Chu, Shotzi Blackheart, Bailey, Isla Dawn, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.